already live, so let's just do that. Okay. Hello. I am a little bit late, a little bit flustered, because, I've tried to launch my game twice this afternoon, and it's crashed both times on the main menu. I haven't even done anything, and it's crashed. So, not sure what to do with that, but, I guess we won't play later? I don't know. We'll see. I'll try and launch it again after I've gone through this list of challenges. Now, I found this the other day, or it came across my dashboard of the other day. And I'm obsessed with it. Have a look at this. These are alphabetically organized. And it's fucking long. Look at this. Like, shout out to Geeky Sims for compiling this. This is absolutely ridiculous. And it includes like build and cast challenges as well, not just gameplay challenges. Yeah, it's wild. I'm fascinated by it. But what I thought before I go in deep and like look at all of the different types of challenges there are, because that's what I'm going to be doing. I thought I would. Does it have links? Should have links. Let me have a look. Hang on, let me pull this up somewhere else. 1 second. No? Okay. I'm gonna do something dangerous. I'm just gonna open my Tumblr. Oh, it's okay, it's just a wizard. And see if this has links in the boop. Here it is. Oh, yep, there's links here. Okay, so if I keep reading, if I do this, okay, yeah, I can follow the links this way. I can't on the person's main page, unfortunately. Yeah, so these are alphabetical. Some of them I recognize, some of them I do not recognize. One of them I wrote. But, yeah, there's a lot going on here. First up, out of these ones, I recognize obviously the 100 Baby Challenge. I can guess at what the 100 Baby Widow Challenge is. I can absolutely guess at the 100 Death Challenge. 100 Kitten Puppy Challenge. Yep. 28 Blind Dates. I've got no idea. 10 Generations, 10 Ghosts. I have an idea, but only it's very vague. 7 Deadly Sins. I know about. But there's 2 versions, which I didn't know about. I'm actually really curious, and I want to compare those. I'm literally just opening all of these, so we're going to be going all over the place. The 4-Story Challenge, 4-Story Legacy, I don't know about either. So let's have a look at these ones first. Just see what we got, what we're working with. I don't know what this is. Okay, I've come up with this different sort of sim dating challenge. Now, dating challenges are a genre of challenges that mostly exist outside of the game. These are challenges that are basically like the person who's playing the challenge or running the challenge invites other simmers to donate sims by creating them and putting them on the gallery or exporting their save file and sending it through, whatever. This is apparently So this is one of those. And now these, and I say they happen mostly outside of the game. I mean that there is a lot of theatricality involved that comes from the way the game is presented on social media rather than what is being actually happening in the gameplay. I've never done one, mostly because I'm not interested in producing my play for social media very particularly. Also because they tend to require mods, I believe, to make work. There's a lot going on. This is wild. So I guess the idea here is that they put the put the contestants, such as they are, into full body suits and using based on not knowing what the Sims look like. That's a thing as well. Sims can be very, very shallow. Not the Sims themselves, but like the Sims as a game, as a community, Sims can be very, very shallow when it comes to picking who their Sim is going to marry. There are challenges that exist that I think are pretty abhorrent, like the breed out the ugly challenge, which is, it's bad. It's not good. I think I discussed this in my first episode. This looks like it's playing on that shallowness, but also producing something for an audience. Less about gameplay. So I'm actually not that interested in this, because I'm not here to analyze social media. I'm here to analyze gameplay and game design. So this is interesting game design, but it's not the type of game that I'm interested in. So we'll get rid of it. Boop. Okay, what's this? 10 Generations 10 Ghosts. So a lot of these challenges will probably be either on Tumblr, which is where that one was and where the post I'm using is, or they will be on the Sims official forum, which looks like this, even in 2022. Yes, correct. Yikes. So this is my first time writing a challenge, but when the discussion came up in the ghost thread, I couldn't resist. Okay, interesting. So this is a strange family, each generation. They'll always have this, almost every challenge will have have some sort of flavor. Implies some story that may not that doesn't actually exist in the game. Not everyone will, but quite a few. And it's really interesting in how they do that. Anyway, this is a strange family. Each generation seems to pass all too quickly, but that doesn't stop the generation from calling the ghosts of their parents back to live in the house. Over and over, by the time 10 generations have passed, the town will have 10 new ghosts, each having gone a different way. Okay, so this is interesting. This is looks like a challenge on collecting deaths. Which is interesting. It also looks like it hasn't been updated for future for packs. Packs beyond vampires. Aging speed normal. Doesn't matter if they're normal aliens or vampires, but they stay vampires after Generation 2, which is interesting. I'm guessing that's a death by sunlight in Generation 2. Buy any reward traits and pursue aspirations in your lifetime. What's a naturalist trait? Is this a Sims 3 challenge? Oh, that's a purchasable one. Right. I see. Okay. Generation 2 sim cannot have the naturalist trait. The Generation 7 sim cannot have the forever full trait, and Generation, so that'll be a starvation death. Generation 8 sim cannot have the shameless trait, which that'll be the embarrassment emotion death. Each generation must complete their selected aspiration before their death. Each generation has a single required trait, which must be selected as early in life as possible. The other traits are at your discretion. Each generation may only pass from the death listed, though how you get that death is up to you. The guide merely has suggestions. The legacy sim in each generation must become a playable ghost without cheats. This involves befriending the ghost when they appear and asking them to move in. Ghosts may not be moved out of the house until the challenge says so. Where they move to doesn't matter. It may be the netherworld if you wish. Though that seems to defeat the end goal here. Yeah, fair enough. Release to netherworld is an aspiration, as an interaction you can do on urns and gravestones that makes the ghost vanish forever. If you aren't familiar. Sims in the Legacy may not use the wishing well to achieve their death, but others in the house may. Using ghosts to help bring about a particular type of death is totally fine. The wishing well is an item from one of the earlier stuff packs that you wish on it, and it usually gives you like either what you wish for or something bad related to what you wish for. I don't play with it very much because you literally like buy its favor. It's an interesting item. I don't use it much. While not required, each generation would do well to get a book of life about them and become best friends with her child before their untimely demise. It's suggested for Generation 1 to compose and record epic tales in 10 books of life. That's something you can do when you are a level 10, you have a level 10 writing skill. Or maybe it's the aspiration goal, but you can write books of life about a sim to like raise them from the dead. You may not use previously existing sims to help you achieve any of the deaths in the challenge. For example, if you're using a vampire to cause an emotional death, it must be a vampire who has grown up in the family or someone who has decided to become a vampire. The same goes for any career objects or conveniently broken electronics. So, I'm not entirely sure what that means. I'm interested. I guess it means you can't use pre-builts. I'm curious, but anyway, you're allowed. Sleep well. Have a good one, and thank you for stopping in. You're allowed to restart without saving if someone dies the wrong death, dies too early, or accidentally gets in a situation where the target death is not possible. However, every time you do so, you must add an additional generation with a different cause of death besides the 10 already used. That's silly. This is silly. This is silly. I like it. Is this meant to be able to slot into an already existing sim world? Maybe. But it would say so. But usually when that's the case, it would say as much. But yes, you could be right. Creative pursuits, sci-fi author. Oh my god, whenever an electronic device breaks, you simply store it in your household inventory and buy a new one. That's so funny. Um, okay. This is interesting. The framing is interesting. It's this is kind of funny. I'm enjoying this. Okay. You can't resist pushing the big red button, so that's how you die. Interesting. Um, this seems like it's not particularly. This isn't doing anything particularly different to most legacy challenges. This breakup, this structure of uh, traits, aspirations, careers, and flavor is this is the standard way most legacy challenges are laid out and played. Um, I um this person dies in with fireworks or on a rocket ship, drowning. Um, cow plant. Um, uh, anger, overexertion, starvation, mortification. So that's the embarrassment, emotional death that I mentioned earlier. Hysterical. That's another emotional death with playfulness. And wishing well for a child when it is in foul mood. Okay, yeah. That's um that's all this is pretty standard. This is a pretty standard challenge. The ghosts are something different, but other than that, it's very basic. Um okay, so this is one of those deadly sins ones. I'll save those. Let's go over to this 4-star legacy first. Um okay. This challenge also had the help of Mom. Interesting. Completely story based and focuses on different parts of the game. Yeah, so that's normal as well. So lots of the reasons that people create these legacy challenges is they want excuses to explore parts of the game that are odd or that they don't naturally fall into when they play without a challenge. And this is one of the same reasons I play with challenges. It literally is just like, hey, here's a reason to interact with a mechanic that you haven't interacted with before or you feel like you've been neglected. Um, style influencer. Yeah. So this is basically this is again very very similar. It's the flavor text, rules, aspiration, career. This one outlined that one. The one we were just looking at outlined like one trait, or didn't specify that you had to complete the careers or anything like that. But ba, ba, ba. My brain has just completely failed me. What am I saying? Oh yeah, that last one didn't have rules around like whether or not you have to finish the careers, but this one's much more specific. You must do these things. Must have 2 failed relationships, must have twins, and have 3 more babies afterwards. And this one also allows you to use cheats and mods, which is really interesting. That's not so common. But fair enough. Yeah, this one actually recommends that you download the mod that allows you to sell drugs. Yeah. Yeah, this isn't anything special either. And well, like I said, this is what most of them are going to look like. Most of the, I'm just going to close my Discord. Most of these challenges are going to be a little bit of story, basically sets up an excuse to play by certain rules. I'm actually going to bookmark this challenge because it looks like it's kind of up my alley. It looks like it has some really it looks like it's kind of up my alley. It looks like it has some really interesting rules. I'm going to save it. I might not. I might not play it. I probably won't do it on stream, but I might do this. Generation 10 dressed like a soft girl or a soft boy. Yeah, like this is dressing goth. You know, there's a lot going on. That's my favorite is when they impose like restrictions on what you can do. Or they tell you that you have to do something that's like draining. So like this one here, never have more than 10,000 simoleons. It's pretty fun. Fall out with your parents and never reconnect because they're disappointed in you. That is likely to be you can't really make parents disappointed in you in The Sims. The Sims, by default, are good parents. That's a really weird and interesting, like, thing that people are trying to do. By default, their only options are, like, for giving advice, are, like, mediocre at worst. There's no... They'll automatically care for toddlers, babies. If there's more Sims in the house than just them, they'll automatically make multiple servings of food instead of just making one for themselves. Things like that. By default, they're pretty okay parents. They'll like to be friends with their children even if they don't like children. So, this instruction, they are disappointed in you, never reconnect with your parents, is a prompt that is enforced. Is only roleplay. That's an only roleplay thing. Because it's not a function that Sims really have. They'll get over any grudges they have very quickly, and they don't tend to give much of a shit after falling out. Like, family's family to The Sims. It's really interesting. But yeah, that is a roleplay based restriction, not part of the gameplay. I wonder if there's more of those in here. Do rags to riches and then get your partner to help you. Like, insert a rags to riches challenge in the middle. That's interesting as well. Names all based on nature. There's things here that are entirely roleplay and that don't impact The Sims at all. Which I kind of really like. I'm just looking for... Right now I'm just looking for more of these roleplay based things. All of your kids growing up, that'll be like taking photos of your children and like lining them up. That again is a role play. Like it happens in the game, but the Sims don't care about it. Um, I'm interested. I'm excited. I like this. Um, have triplets. Sorry, it's really hard. Marry one of your clients. Oh, interior decorator. Right, I see. See the previous generation every Friday. Every weekend and have a family dinner every Friday. Look at that. Whenever a holiday, go to Gen 5's house. That's role play. We're at role play from here down on this family. And I've done this, like going to family house for dinner, having like family over for holidays. I love doing that in The Sims. It's really fun to me. Um, yeah, this is a good challenge. This is very up my alley. Um, never hurt a sim. It's vague. I like it. All of your babies' names must start with the same letter as your name. Pretty cute. Um, go to the onsen every Sunday. That's fun. Um, yeah, there's some fun stuff going on here. I'm a fan of this. It's a fun challenge. Anyway, let's look at these two different Seven Deadly Sins. Now, quite often, these challenges will be based on something that exists already. So, like here, the Seven Deadly Sins. I've also seen Animal Crossing challenges, Stardew Valley challenges. I've seen ooh. The challenge I wrote is D&D based, kind of. Um, there's there's not always. Oh, there's Bachelor and Bachelorettes, as in like based on the TV show The Bachelor, or The Bachelorette. Um, yeah, but we'll see a few of those as we go. This is one of the classics, Seven Deadly Sins. There's a lot of Four Elements style ones. Um, I just want to give some background on what the Seven Deadly Sins are. And the 6th century Pope Gregorius the First. Great, fantastic shit. Basic rules. No toddler that will be the next heir is allowed to have the angelic trait, but siblings are allowed to have it. It's great. This is great. And to be absolutely clear, when I am laughing about stuff, I'm never making fun of these challenges, unless they are doing something like bad. For the most part, I genuinely enjoy this shit. I think it's really cool actually that this is, that there's all of this roleplay choice that comes into, gameplay. I love the way that the challenge is implemented. That's the whole point of the Sims for Game Designers stream. Just to clear that up. If anybody thinks that, oh, Jack's just here ripping the shit out of challenges. No, I think these challenges are fantastic. I think they're really, really cool. I think they're really important parts of gameplay, and I'm really into them. But it's because I'm really into them, and I've read so many of them in the past that they make me laugh sometimes. If your last generation is the 7th generation, the baby this gen will age up with the angelic trait when becoming a toddler. If you play up to the 10th generation, the baby of Gen 9 will get the angelic trait when aging into a toddler. Okay, yeah. So the final generation has the angelic trait. Interesting. For each gen, you can decide for yourselves how many children the generation will have, unless it's stated in the rules. Number of children that the family will have is all often in the rules for a generation. That's similar to when I play. I always roll a d6. If I'm not playing the 100 baby challenge, I will usually roll a d6 for each generation and have whatever the result is, number of children. And that's just because I'm a dice-based person. And that's how I think. And also because 6 is a lot of children. But not so many that they can't all live in the house at the same time. Let me just have a sip. Hang on. I want to take the spoon out so you don't hear infinite clinking. If there is a career aspirational trait that you can't assign to your sim because you don't have certain DLC, you can choose another aspirational trait you think is right for the generation you're currently playing. Yeah, so we start with Wrath. Get in a relationship with someone to carry on the lineage, but let them break up with you after you get a baby because you keep being angry and mean to them. Like, that's again a roleplay decision. Your Sims will not default to being angry and mean to one another, unless they are in bad moods or they have certain traits that might encourage that behavior. But generally, they'll just kind of be neutral towards each other by default. So you would have to actively be angry and rude. When the child is the toddler life stage, you get angry or mean. Whenever your toddler does something bad, when the toddler reaches the child life stage, you realize that the only person you care about constantly gets hurt when you act this way, and leads you to the decision to never act angry or mean to your child anymore. And remarrying your first partner. This is roleplay. This is roleplay. Max the friendship bar with your child is a mechanical requirement, but the rest of this is gameplay. Is roleplay. That's really fun. Lust. A serial romantic. One night after one of your performances, you bump into one of your exes, which results in a one-night stand and a pregnancy. Again, that's mostly flavor, because you have to actively try for baby. You can't. There are mods that allow accidental pregnancy, and the game could. This challenge could be assuming that you're using one of those because they are commonly used. Wicked Whims and MC Command Center both allow you to do that. And that could be the assumption here, but who knows? My friend has just messaged me asking how to do something in The Sims. I'm streaming right now, but I'll... Okay. After the baby is born, you decide to take dating more seriously because you want to have a two-parent household for your baby. Eventually, you find someone you fall deeply in love with, and this is the person you decide to marry, even though you are non-committal. After you commit to your 8 relationship... Oh, after you commit... That's related to the aspiration serial romantic, so that's a mechanical integration here. So after you finish your... once you finish your aspiration, you can decide to never have romantic interactions with anyone but your partner. Easy. That's role play at this point, because the Sims traits don't change. The Sim will still be romantic and non-committal, and will probably still get crushes if I don't quote me on that. That's the high school years, which I'm not super familiar with yet. Sloth. Lazy. Um, be a conservationist. Order pizza every Saturday, again, roleplay. Pay little attention to the upbringing of your children, again, basically random. Basically completely outside of the mechanics of the game. And an active choice by the player. What do we got? Pride. When you notice children are not doing well in school, start acting disappointed. Again, that's got to be a choice that the player is making. The Sims will never automatically do this. Set a curfew or grounding your child. Giving extra chores. Like, that stuff has to be directly inputted by the player every time. After a lot of arguments, you notice your child really enjoys making food, and you decide to make their dreams come true, even when they do not fit in with your perfect world. That's, again, roleplay. Very little. Very little gameplay required. It's roleplay. What I'm finding really interesting here is that all of these generations seem to be like sort of reforming when they grow up. That's fun. It's not the route I would have gone with 7 Deadly Sins, but it's fun. Gluttony. You start to worry about here we go. After years of excessive eating and drinking, you start to worry about your health. You decide to start incorporating workouts into your life. And when you reach adulthood, you include going for a run on every Wednesday and Sunday. It's the reforming thing. Importantly, your eating habits and the Sims have no impact on your Sims' health whatsoever. There's no long-term illness in The Sims. You can get a cold, but that's about it. There's no... What I'm saying here is that this challenge is just like, we have to villainize fatness. Because Sims do get fat. That's an interesting thing. Sims do get fat, but they do not suffer health implications. Which, interesting. Interesting to choose. Oh, go to a nightclub every weekend to party. That one's roleplay as well. I don't like this because I don't like the idea of role-playing going on a diet. I think that's silly. Oh my gosh, my brain is just absolutely foggy. It's been a long day. Instead of food, you like money. Fabulously wealthy or mansion baron. Fall in love with somebody that is married and has a child or children. You desperately want this person to be yours, so you convince them to divorce their spouse and marry you instead when you are a young adult. Again, Sims won't do that by default. They might flirt. um, based on certain things, but they won't pursue a relationship with somebody without you setting them to do so. So again, that's choice. That's entirely outside of the game. On your birthday, becoming an adult, your spouse wants to invite the children and ex-spouse from their previous marriage. You're reluctant, but you agree to have them over. When they are at your house, you start to realize that what negative impact your greediness had on the lives of the other family, and you decide you want to do get something back to the world, so you start volunteering and donating 1,000 simoleons to charity every week for the rest of your life. Entirely roleplay. Sims do not feel regret, because Sims don't really feel... Well, okay, they might feel... No, they don't feel regret. I don't think I've ever seen a Sim with a sentiment that... like, sentiments might imply regret, but I don't think I've ever seen one. The fears, maybe? Again, it's new. I'm not entirely sure how. But this is definitely older than the concept of fears, so... When this challenge was written, there was no way. Okay, envy. You thought that being an arts critic was the right job for you because it combines your passion with you being critical of everything. Seeing others enjoy creating art eventually makes you miss your dream of becoming a painter yourself. And instead of living with your envy, you feel towards other artists, you decide to start a career as a painter. And then it's optionally you can carry on and do 3 more things. 3 more. Sorry, just let me. 3 more generations. That'll be because the standard length of a legacy challenge is 10. Not necessarily, but quite often it'll be 10. I think that's because the legacy challenge, the original legacy challenge, is a 10 generation challenge. Yeah, this one incorporates a lot of imposing story onto Sims that do not mechanically feel it, which is something that I don't super enjoy doing. If it's not happening mechanically, I don't really feel like I should be imposing it on my Sims. But that's just me. I'm going to switch over to this other 7 Deadly Sins one now, and let's compare them. Worst traits, careers, and aspirations that SimKind has to offer. There aren't a lot of rules because there's a sin challenge. Guidelines and suggestions to help you really lean into that sinful life. This is a super tongue-in-cheek challenge, given that all your Sims will be horrible children, partners, parents, employees, and friends. If a generational task disturbs you, skip it. How bad is this going to be? No real career, no spouse, no degree. Your Sim has to make and raise an heir, but beyond that, they just slide through life, enjoy napping, drinking juice on the beach, sleeping, neglecting their heir, and going with the flow. Yeah, it's never ask them to leave. Sleep on the beach, skip work and or school when your Sim is in the mood. Leave bowls of food on the ground for your toddler heir. Backfloat in the ocean. Don't amass a personal fortune of more than 5k or so, excluding your house and possessions. Sleep. So like this is a mostly roleplay based challenge. Which is interesting. It's even more loose than steal the stars of other celebrities. Spread rumors. Win. Interesting. Let's see if it gets into fat shaming and gluttony. Oh, it doesn't. Look at that. Likes to consume, not necessarily about food. It's interesting. There's a lot going on here. But I like that it's quite loose. But yeah, this is very, very sort of like, yeah, that's pretty alright. Now my brain is completely fogging out on me, so I'm actually going to call this stream here. Especially because the game wasn't working, and we can't switch to well, I can try booting it up again. But it was just fully crashing. No, I don't want the trailer. Oh, I pressed the wrong button. It was crashing as soon as it got to the main menu, so I'm not expecting this to go well. But yeah, this is a lot of challenges. This is Geeky Sims pinned post, so if you go to geekysims.tumblr.com, you will that's Geeky Sims with a Z. Oh, it didn't even get that far. It just crashed. Yeah, okay. So there's a lot going on here. I'll get more into it another time. But for today, I'm just going to call it here and try not to have a nap. Good night. Goodbye.